Hi everyone, my name is Nasya. I'm an admissions officer here at Duke. I'm also an alum, and I'm so excited to be sharing a bit about our community with you today. Across your screen, you'll see some words go by, and these are what I think can start to answer a question you may be having as to who Duke is. Throughout this presentation, hopefully these words come to life, and by the end of it, you understand why through them all we say, this is Duke. So first things first, where are we located? We're in Durham, North Carolina, right in the middle of the state, 2 hours from the beach, 2 hours from the mountains. Here's a nice snapshot about where we are in relation to neighboring cities as well. Our main airport is RDU, which is about 30 minutes from campus. So when students want to get home on breaks, they can often carpool or utilize the free shuttle services offered. First word that comes to mind when I think of North Carolina as a state, especially as a Florida native, is going to be that it is green. As you can see in this photo on the right, this that is very much true. But all jokes aside, the landscape is beautiful and is probably one of the first things to strike you if you ever come to visit us. The city of Durham itself is suburban and often described as eclectic, artsy, foodsy. Students can experience the city for themselves pretty easily because the start of downtown is just a walk away from East Campus, which we'll talk a bit about in the next slide. For fun, you can try new restaurants. My favorite thing was to go to the farmers market every Saturday morning and take part in my lavender lemonade ritual. You can also attend different festivals or food truck rodeos. Durham is also fastly growing and is a part of what's known as the Research Triangle, which includes neighboring cities Raleigh and Chapel Hill. Together, they're known as a hub for a lot of innovation, technology, and entrepreneurship. So, whether you're looking for local professional development or some fun outside of your Duke bubble, know that you can very much get the best of both worlds. Let's talk about our community first. So, we're a mid-sized institution, which means you'll likely always see a nice balance of familiar and new faces on campus. The core of the undergraduate experience is very much the student experience, and you begin to build that sense of community from your freshman year. As a first year student, you'll be randomly assigned a roommate and residential hall, and you'll move on to East Campus, which is a campus solely designated for freshman students. This is by no means intended to silo first years, as you'll still likely end up on West Campus for classes, games, and all that fun stuff, but instead it gives you a place to call home, to know that wherever you are on East Campus, you're surrounded by folks that'll be with you for the next year, and just really support this transition into college life. The campus is self-functioning as well, so it has its own dining hall, recreational center, and library. When you think about building community, know that this starts even before you start classes through experiential orientation projects, which are focused only on cultivating community through a shared interest. Projects range throughout campus and throughout North Carolina. There's Project Waves, which happens at our Marine Lab in Brewfort, North Carolina, and Falls Lake. Our most notorious project, Project Wild, which happens in Pisgah National Forest, and students are camping for 5 nights. Those are just two out of the many, but overall, students come back from these projects often saying that this is where they got their first group of friends from. As you wrap up your first year, you'll take part in a tradition called Bricks to Stone, which is a walk from East to West Campus. Students are all super excited. We did it. We finished our first year, and you're following behind the marching band to mark your move to West and this opportunity to continue growing with your residential community. We have a residential program called Quad X, where students live in quads. And you'll know which you're a part of from your freshman year because it's tied to upper class housing on West Campus. You'll never have to worry about where you're living as well because students are required to live on campus for 3 years and housing is guaranteed for 4. Majority of students also decide to stay on campus because it's really centralized, it's super walkable, and it's often always a lively place to be. This is a beautiful photo of West Campus, which is the heartbeat of Duke. It's where our remaining housing is, majority of classes, graduate schools, our athletic stadiums, and so much more. To your right, that glass building that you see here is our Broadhead Center, our dining hall. It functions similar to a food court in a mall. And if you're wondering, the food is phenomenal. It is good. It is a requirement if you ever come to visit campus. Peeking to the left is our the beginning of our wellness center. This is where students have access to student health, counseling, and psychological services, an oasis if you ever need to wind down. And my favorite place of campus is also there, which is the meditation garden. In the middle, this walkway here is what we call BC Plaza. And the back is our student center called Bryan Center, where you can find a variety of student support. On BC Plaza, you'll likely always see clubs tabling, a show being pubbed, or a free activity being offered for all. Student life is active and very real on campus. We have over 700 clubs, ranging from the arts to student publications, pre-professional clubs. The list goes on. We've even had a Quidditch club at one point. Some notable mentions in recent years have to be the Duke Puppy Kindergarten, which is one of my personal favorites, Duke Lady Devils, which is a flag football team, and club gymnastics. Overall, it's a breath of fresh air to see that students are just as passionate about the things that they do outside of the classroom as they do in. And know that there's always a place to get away, even while on campus. This is a nice picture of our Duke Gardens, which is a beautiful place to be all year round, all seasons included. The Marine Lab that I've mentioned earlier in this presentation is also open to all students, regardless of major, and open any semester. The Duke Forest also surrounds our campus and is a really cool place to take a run or a hike if you need. All in all, there's so many places to see and so many things to do if you're able to visit us here. Now let's transition and talk about our academics. Some of the words that come to mind to describe it are going to be flexibility and interdisciplinary learning. Liberal arts lies at the core of our two schools, the Trinity College of Arts and Sciences and the Pratt School of Engineering. Across these two schools, we offer over 50 majors, minors, and certificates, and majority of students are pursuing more than one academic pathway. You can even create your own major from the title to your major requirements through something called Program 2 in our Trinity College. I think it's a really unique way that students can take advantage of their exploration. Take my friend, for example. She created a major called Fashioning Society of Reassessment because she was interested in sociology, policy, and fashion design. Her senior capstone project was called Community Closet, and it was a fashion show and magazine that highlighted local designers and utilized current students. I think she's truly a prime example for the amount of support and resources available to turn your academic inquiry to life. Overall, throughout our academics, the goal is to really get in depth with your learning, and I think it's made possible through the large variety of classes and programs offered. Now let's talk a bit more about Trinity, where about 80% of our student body resides. Trinity College is really cool in that even if you share the same major as someone, you will likely not have the same schedule. And that's because there's no distinctive core curriculum. Outside of major requirements, students are only required to take two courses across 6 consecutive themes. And there's a large range of students, classes to choose from, and you'll often find overlap between them. So you have a lot of freedom and a lot of breadth, to be able to kind of stack up on those. What's also distinctive about Trinity is that you immediately get exposed to interdisciplinary learning in your first year. All freshmen are required to participate in either Focus or Constellations. Focus is a living learning community, so you'll live with students in your cluster and you'll explore an idea from the point of view of various disciplines during your first semester, and it's seminar style. You'll also integrate going beyond Duke campus to learn as well. Some popular focus clusters are going to be neuroscience and law, free for all, freedom, justice, and citizenship. If you aren't a part of Focus, you'll be a part of Constellations, which is a year-long exploration of a question from multiple perspectives, like why do we need rules and what is the cosmos? In general, it's nice that regardless of what your major is and what field it lies in, that you get a really nice holistic learning experience through Trinity. Now let's talk about Pratt, which holds our Pratt stars. So on your screen here, you'll see we offer 6 majors within Pratt, and Ideas is similar to Program 2, where you can create your own major. One of the signature programs within Pratt is going to be our first year design course. This is where freshmen immediately get the opportunity to see applications of engineering. Students work together in a group of peers on real-world client-based problems and have to create a solution within that semester. Some recent projects have been a handheld inhaler to help the elderly self-administer medicine. There's also been a feeding device for our lemurs. While a bit more structured, Pratt still leaves room to engage across the disciplines and double major within or between the two schools. Overall, I see Pratt as a place that supports future engineers who strive for impact and want to serve society. I know I mentioned a lot of opportunity and a lot of options. And so know that there's a lot of support to help you figure out what path will be right for you. We have an academic advising center here to support you, and the professors truly do want to connect with students even beyond the room. We even have an opportunity called Flunch, where students can get money to take a professor out for coffee or meal on Duke's dime, and this is money that you can get each semester to do so. Um, Also, rather than having any pre-professional majors like pre-med or pre-law, we have advisors that'll work with students one-on-one to ensure you stay on track for your next step. Finally, you don't declare your major until your sophomore spring, so you have plenty of time to figure things out. Research is a big part of our institution. We like to say that we have more research opportunities than we do Duke students, and they can do so from their freshman year, whether it's for work, for class credit, or for fun. Research also isn't just in a lab with a lab coat on, and I love to break this myth with the example that it can look like you being in our lemur center, where we house the most diverse population of lemurs outside of their native Madagascar. Students have ample ways to get connected through research, whether they're reaching out to a professor or applying through one of the various platforms where research is posted. One of our signature programs mentioned in this slide here is Bass Connections, which is an interdisciplinary research group to explore a big unanswered question about societal challenges from multiple disciplines. We see folks come together from all facets of Duke's community through this opportunity. For example, history, English, math, and computer science majors all have worked together to do work on data networks of Asian American literature. We've also seen Pratt Stars, ecology, and econ students all support research on understanding how students build identity through STEM endeavors. We also have a lot of research happening within the environmental sciences. This picture is from a student who directed a documentary on the death of a glacier in Iceland. They're a great example for the fact that exploration and work is happening in this field all across our university and the world. We remain committed to the environment and sustainability, and through such work, we've reached carbon neutrality in our centennial year and are definitely looking forward to seeing other milestones to be achieved through future research endeavors. There are many ways to study abroad, and when you're ready to pop your Duke bubble and do so, you can find them all through our Global Education Office. You can do this any semester, financial aid applies, and the program does not have to be aligned with your major. Note that all students can be a part of this, including our Pratt Stars. Our most signature program is called Duke Engage, which is an experiential, fully funded experience to learn about addressing social issues, have a global exchange of perspective, and look from within about who we want to be within this world. It was probably one of my best Duke experiences that happened, and it wasn't even on campus where I got to travel to an all-girls boarding school campus in Kenya. I was there for 2 months and I got to support their everyday things that were going on, different clubs and different endeavors that was happening in the local community and on campus. Students have also got to go to Brazil to support youth empowerment and community engagement through cultural arts education. Others have gone to Uganda to design engineer solutions for low-income healthcare delivery. And so the list goes on for projects happening both domestically and internationally. The arts and humanities is another facet of community that all students can be a part of, whether it's included in your major or not. For example, all students have to fulfill a language requirement if you're a part of Trinity, and this has to be 2 to 3 courses in either one or two languages. It's a pretty expansive list of options with some new ones that have been introduced in recent years, such as American Sign Language and the native Cherokee language. You can also take part in art workshops year round, which are free and open to all students in our arts annex, which this is the photo that you see here. Students can engage with different art mediums, learn to wheel throw. In general, you can just rent out painting supplies if you just want to experiment or just hang out. I worked here my senior year and it was probably one of my favorite jobs on campus. There's also the Nasher and the Ruby or Rubenstein that you can also come and visit. In general, students engage deeply with music, dance, theater, and so much more within our community. And it was truly a highlight during my time there to just support during my Duke experience. I got to be a part of a musical. I would go to so many dance shows because all my friends were a part of the dance organizations on campus. And I love to always support our orchestra or symphony at their concerts. While the student experience is the cornerstone of the Duke experience, it goes by super fast. But you should know that even after graduating, you will be set up for success. We have alum all over the world, including cities like San Francisco, New York, Chicago, London. Those are the more popular ones that they end up at. And through work with our Career Center and endless opportunities being offered throughout, over 90% of students have had at least one internship during their time at Duke. 96% are employed or in graduate school within 6 months. Our pre-professional students are successful in making that next step, with an 86% medical school admit rate, 98% for law school, and 99% for business school. Overall, students graduate as collaborative leaders and critical thinkers ready to take on real-world challenges. To close, I want to note that this is a community that does not leave you, literally. I mean, you see me here giving you this presentation, but our alumni hashtag is Forever Duke because you'll have a lifelong connection to this community. Whether you want to connect with someone in a new city, get career advice, or pitch a new idea, your fellow Blue Devils will always be there. Hopefully, some of those words that you saw at the beginning of this presentation have come to life, and you've been left with an idea of whether Duke may be that fit for you. Now let's transition into talking about applying to Duke if you think that it is. So we accept first-year applications through Common Application and QuestBridge. For transfer applications, we accept those for incoming sophomores and juniors, and that'll be either through our own application or coalition. You'll either apply during early decision or regular. Early decision is binding if you get admitted, and you have to go with the financial aid package that you're offered at that time. The application deadline is also earlier, often at the beginning of November, and you'll receive your decision sooner around mid-December. If you have other factors weighing on your college going decision, your best bet will probably be to apply regular decision. Then you'll have time to really consider your options and maybe different financial aid packages. The deadline is usually around early January, and you'll receive your decision near late March or early April and have about a month to decide. Finally, when you apply, note that you are not tied to a major. You only have to indicate whether you want to apply to Trinity or Pratt. When we review applications, we review them from a holistic perspective, which means that we're considering your whole application and we're thinking about you as a whole person and what you can bring to our community. Some required things that we look at are going to be your transcript, which is where we get an idea of how you've been challenging yourself within your classes, and whether you've been performing well in them. I think the biggest thing to take away from here is that this is being considered within the context of the opportunities available to you. We also require two teacher letters of recommendation and one coming from your college counselor at your school. Your teachers should be from core subjects or any academic courses. We encourage that if you're applying to Pratt, that one should be from a STEM teacher. You can also submit one additional letter of recommendation. This part of your application is where we get the chance to hear about who you are and the impact that you've had within the classroom and your school's community, and it's nice to hear it from another voice. Note that extracurriculars is a super broad term that encompasses not only what your school has to offer, but includes things like family responsibilities, part-time work, volunteer experience, and so much more. Think about where you commit your time to that isn't related to your classes or schoolwork, and where you see your impact within your respective communities the most. Finally, we require applicants to submit their general application essay and the Why Duke essay. Through these, we hope to get a sense of your voice and your perspective, as well as understand what draws you to Duke's community, and a really nice place to hear what your voice sounds like. We also have some optional items that you can submit. So if you are applying in the 2025 to 2026 application cycle, note that we are test optional. If you're not applying now, you can always check back with us on our website to see any updates about our testing policy for the upcoming cycle. If you can envision yourself engaging with the arts at Duke, you can submit an art supplement showcasing your talent. We review all mediums of art except for visual arts and writing. We also offer optional alumni interviews. However, don't freak out if you don't get one, please. They're dependent on the amount of alumni in your area. You can also submit a glimpse video where you can speak directly to us through a recording of about 60 to 90 seconds about anything. Duke's student body is so rich because of the different perspectives, ideas, and experiences that students are bringing to campus. And as an admissions officer, the most common question we get asked is what you are looking for. And so you can start to get an idea of that answer when you read these qualities here. But I do want to note that this is not by any means a checklist. Instead, our community ends up being a beautiful mix of all of these qualities and so much more. They're folks who strive to cultivate change in this world, who will be kind friends to their peers, who are open-minded to different viewpoints and experiences. Overall, through that, I think that the best foot that you can put forward in your application is being authentically yourself, showing us who that is and where you see that aligning with Duke's community. Here's a nice snapshot of some primary deadlines, and you can always expect future deadlines to be around the same as well. We also love to put a nice plug into our gap year program. So if you have a passion project or a mission or an activity that you want to complete before you start your college journey, you can actually be a part of a designated program that will support you in doing so. We also offer up to $25,000 in funding to support said project. And what's really nice as well is that throughout this program, you're provided with a community of peers who are all partaking in the gap year. So during that time that you're doing so, or even when you get to campus, you'll have people to connect with that are going through the same experience. So finally, to close up, let's chat about financial aid. So, first steps of figuring out the cost of Duke will be to check out our net price calculator or my intuition calculator. And this is where you can see an estimate of your financial aid package dependent on entering in your family's financial information. These tools can be super useful depending on how accurate the information is that you put in. So I always encourage folks like take your time with this so you can really get out what you put in. If you decide to apply, you'll want to complete the FAFSA and the CSS profile by the respective deadlines for either decision rounds. So please note that not submitting in time could delay you receiving a financial aid offer with the decision that you receive. Biggest things to note about our financial aid is that we're committed to meeting 100% financial need and our need blind for all U.S. citizens, permanent residents, and eligible non-citizens, which means that we calculate what we expect your family can contribute to your college education and subtract that from our total cost of attendance, and is committed to meeting that difference via grants, loans, and work study. Because of this, a good portion of our students are receiving some form of financial aid, and a good bit of them are graduating debt free. If you have any questions about specific circumstances or in search of support, know that you can always reach out to our financial aid office. They are actually amazing and are here to support you in whichever way that they can. We also have an initiative to students from the Carolinas where you can receive a full tuition scholarship or even get your total cost of Duke experience covered depending on your household income. This is to demonstrate our commitment to our campus home and those of our neighbors who become a part of our community. But overall, please note that there are many avenues for all students to be supported financially coming to Duke. All right, guys, that's the end of my spiel. We're across all social media platforms, so please, please, please connect with us to learn more and get looks into what's going on across campus and the experience of current students. You're also always welcome to come visit us on campus as we offer in-person campus tours. You can find when those are offered on our website. We wish you all the best in your college search journey, and we look forward to meeting our future Blue Devils. Thanks.